over very, very quickly. So let's switch in and unpause, and here we are. Game number 5, part 1, I guess. This is a best of 3 now between the Psy team and the Don't Lame Us Please team. We've got deathmatch again, and it is once again Persians and Japanese mirror. At the south of the map, in the blue, we have got Abu playing as the Persians, and his teammate over to the southwest of the map in the green is Feng Xin playing as the Japanese. Up to the northwest of the map in the purple, we've got Winchester playing as the Japanese up here, and over to the northeast of the map, we've got Vic Warrior playing as the Persians up this side. Now, the strategy for this kind of matchup, the Persians Japanese mirror matchup, seems to be pretty similar. It seems to be a couple of stables for the Persians and then castles for war elephants like crazy, followed up with siege workshops and scorpions, whereas the Japanese seem to be making a pretty big combination of halberdier and champions, with added siege for good measure. In fact, Feng's in here adding in a couple of siege workshops. Of course, eco is also very, very important in the deathmatch setup, and it's so crucial to get those TCs up early and get those TCs up fast, so that you can start pumping out villagers to allow you to continually spam units across the map. Now, so far, what I like to do on this map, on this set, is to watch the population tab. Now, typically speaking, the Persians have a slower start due to needing a few castles to get those Nellies out, but they do often make a lot of Paladins early on. The Persian Paladin is pretty damn good. Not quite as good as the Frank Paladin, but they do get bloodlines and they do get +4/+4. And in fact, we've got the Persian player, Abu, coming straight into Winchester's flank now, as Warrior gets a very slow start. He's only got 19 population at the moment, and Winchester leading at the moment with 39 population. But on this right flank, these Paladins are going to catch him off guard, and he's running straight into Feng Xin here, who's got these scorpions on the hills. So Winchester getting cleaned up by Feng Xin on the front, and now forced and distracted by Abu on this right side. Of course, Warrior here, a few camels out, but Warrior not really getting very aggressive at all, waiting, of course, for those castles. But he has gone for 6 castles, and that is exactly the same number of castles that Bender went for. So, obviously, Bender, the amazing player that he is, going for exactly the same build as what Warrior is using now. Problem is, I think Warrior probably doesn't have the population headroom at the moment. Oh no, of course he has. He's built a load of castles. Of course he's got the population headroom. He's got 130 population headroom. He's got headroom for days. Meanwhile, Abu starting to get those castles out as well. Again, 6 castles from him. In fact, make that 7 as another one goes up on the hill, and starting to get that eco going as well. But it's kind of 2v1 at the moment on Winchester. Winchester being taken out by those champions and paladins that are coming in from Abu. Meanwhile, Warrior wants to go forwards on this right side and push Abu back. It's going to be a little bit difficult without heavy siege to take the castles down. The Nellies, of course, could attack the castles, but when you've got 7 castles firing at you, even the elephants are going to have a little bit of a tough time. But on this left side, Winchester seems to be struggling a little bit since it is 2v1, and Warrior could send some paladins or some camels over there to help out, but Winchester just defending for now. Well played by him on that 2v1 at the back. Question is, will he be able to hold out from this onslaught on the front? He has got very similar population to Feng Xin. In fact, he's got a population advantage over Feng Xin, and even Vic Warrior has a population advantage over Abu at the moment. So Warrior just needs to get his act together and push forwards, and these guys now all starting to build up some eco as well, albeit a little bit slowly. Just got another Wallalow, but I'm waiting for that to pop up on my second monitor. It will pop up any second. Anonymous donated $1.24. He says, "Love you, Magiza." Thank you, man. Thank you very much. We have got onagers out for Winchester. He is putting out those onagers there to deal with those scorpions from Feng Xin, but it's a 2v1 on Winchester still, as we've got the elephants coming in now as well. Winchester, though, putting a great fight up against Feng Xin here, doing a fantastic job, and if he keeps the scorpions coming out, and if he starts adding in more halbs, he could deal with the elephants as well, but it won't be easy to deal with this. Meanwhile, though, on the right side, huge number of elephants and rams now coming in for Vic Warrior here. And of course, he wants to take down these castles from Abu quickly so that Abu ends up falling right back. But Vinchester's down to 68 population, and it is so difficult to take these elephants down. 620 health on these guys with 24 attack and 4 melee armor and 7 pierce armor. It's no small amount. Vinchester getting absolutely cut to bits. But meanwhile on this right side, Warrior coming in. I can't help but feel though that those scorpions are in a little bit of an awkward place with those castles putting down some serious damage, but those siege rams coming forwards, and they will be taking down those castles very quickly from Abu as they drop to the siege rams there. It looks like Warrior's doing a fantastic job on this right side, and the Vic guys, if they take the deathmatch games, will be in a fantastic position. Well, not a fantastic position, but they will have gotten a win on the board. But at the moment, this left side looking so bad for Vinchester here. This huge number of scorpions from Feng Xin and from Abu. It's a very unstoppable force, and meanwhile, Warrior, sure, he's taking down the castles from Abu, but is he going to take Abu out? It's going to be very difficult for him to do that, I think. He's fighting uphill here on this left side. There's scorpions back here from Abu as well. And I don't know, I mean, the castles are going to go down. That's fantastic. But the eco is not going to be looking great after this push is over for these guys. Now, meanwhile, on this left side, still these elephants causing trouble, and I mean, they take so many so much arrow fire from everything. There's just so many scorpions here that making halberdier is simply not an option for Vinchester on the left side. I mean, he really needs more onagers to take these scorpions down. Of course, he outranges them by a single point of range, but he needs to take the scorps down somehow. Otherwise, the halberdier are simply not going to be able to put up enough of a fight. But on this right side still, Warrior's doing a great job, though he does have less population than Abu now. And Abu and Feng Xin are starting their trade as they start to build up their eco even more to keep sustaining this push. Forwards at siege workshops and such coming out for Feng Xin, and Vinchester's running to the back of the map, it seems, almost trying to hold on with what he's got. He's got these onagers though, and look at that, multi kills on those heavy scorpions. It's like that is exactly what we need for this kind of moment. Vinchester getting in those onager shots, but there's some seriously large number of trebuchets here. Still tons of scorpions behind this, and Warrior is managing to take down these castles, at least on the right side for Abu. The gold is looking reasonably low for all of them, but it's the food that becomes the problem. Feng Xin here, 100 food and 300 wood. He sent a lot of that, or he sold a lot of that. One or the other. But this push on the right side from Warrior, that's what these guys needed to take this game. But unfortunately, Warrior just did not have enough momentum there to push this completely back. Abu's still got 3 castles. He's building a 4th and a 5th now. And in fact, make that a 6th. So he's going to be back up on 6 castles in immediately. And I don't think Warrior has the eco at this point in time to keep elephant production going. There is hardly any trade at the back here for these guys, and although they are mining out the gold, I don't know if there's enough villagers on the map. If we have a quick look at the eco stats, we can see that Feng Xin has 115 economy units and Abu has 117 economy units, whereas Warrior has 85 and Vinchester has 57. Per Gunner says, been slinging you this stream, we will make 150 easy. When I said I needed 150 extra subscribers to get the new emotes, that is 150 on top of what we already have. So, like I say, it might be a long time before we unlock another 2 emotes, as 250 subscribers is quite a lot, and that would mean that like 50% of the regular viewers are subscribed, and I think that's pretty unlikely, to be honest with you. Anyway, this push from Feng Xin still coming forwards, and that is a dead economy for Vinchester here. On this right side, Warrior seems, like I say, to be losing momentum. He's got a disadvantage in the number of elephants here. And I think it's going to be over for the the Don't Lame Us Please team very soon. as Feng Xin just seems unstoppable at the top of the map here. Warrior has got 111 eco units, but he is down to 150 population, and these elephants here from Abu just show no sign of stopping as they take down those, oh god, they take down the scorpions. Now the thing about elephants is that they have an area of effect, they have an area damage, and that means that as soon as 1 or 2 elephants get into a group of scorpions, they just do blast damage in a radius and all of the scorpions die. Warrior there had all of his scorpions on top of each other as Abu's elephants just run in and just flatten them all in an instant. The elephants kind of do trample damage, splash damage, and that is that. I mean, Abu just cleaning up on the right side, and the Warrior just did not have any military left after that one. Feng Xin on the top, cleaning up Winchester, and Winchester getting 2v1'd very early on, so I feel very sorry for him. But that's the GG. Shmup, thank you very much for becoming a Wallow Warlord, Shmup. Shmuff, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sorry, but thank you very much. Welcome to the Wallow Warlords. Best new subscriber hype. Sub hype. But anyway, let's get on to game number 2. Like I said, this is a best of 3 for the 5th point here. And so with game 1 being done, Sai looking for another win to claim the 5th point on the board. Otherwise, Don't Labours Please might take one, and it will go to a deciding 3rd game. But the next game we'll load up right now and get going without even leaving the game or changing the scene or anything like that. Let's load it up. Okay, so then, this is game number 2 in the best of 3 deathmatch, 5th point between Sai and Don't Labours Please. Once again, we've got down to the south, Abu playing in the blue as the Franks, and his teammate off to the west of the map in the green, playing as the Vikings, is Feng Xin. It's a Vikings and Franks mirror Civ. Interesting choice of Civs there, especially with the Vikings involved. At the north of the map, we've got WiC Warrior in the red, playing as the Franks, and over to the far east of the map, in the purple, we've got Winchester, playing as the Vikings. That's for Don't Labours Please. So, this should be an interesting one. I think the Don't Labours Please team have actually had a pretty good, I don't know, they had a decent start, let's be honest. They played well in that last game, but they just didn't have quite what it took. Winchester got taken out very quickly, and Warrior just seemed very slow to get things going. So these guys are going to be moving out pretty quickly, and of course the Frank person here should be rushing down the Vikings pretty quickly. Indeed, we see Warrior doing just that, and that's great to see. Feng Xin starting to add in some pikes very quickly. Of course, Vikings though, only with the pikemen here. No halberdier for those guys, and those paladins are Frankish paladins, so they get extra health as well, making them the best paladins in the game, and as a result, potential to do damage is high. But Feng Xin making basically a wall out of buildings here, so that those paladins cannot get in and kill his villagers, and that's one of the huge things in deathmatch you have to do. Very early stages of the game, you have to make sure that you keep your villagers safe, so that they don't get killed off by your enemy scout or by enemy early raiding units. And if you lose your villagers early on, that's bad news, because it means you can't get your military production buildings up, you can't get your castles up and things, and that's really costly. So far though, Feng Xin on the lowest population at the moment. WiC Warrior doing a good amount of damage with these paladins, and it doesn't show sign of stopping. Abu meanwhile running by with his paladins, and Winchester actually opting to go with champions here. I actually feel like champions probably a better option than pikes at this point in time. Feng Xin starting on the arbalest production though, and now those castles are up, his defenses are going to be much better or much more in place. These paladins so tanky underneath these castles still. But there are a lot of paladins here from Warrior, and he can afford to lose a couple, I guess. But once the 3rd castle goes up, and once these arbalests really start getting massed up behind here, Warrior in red might just be able to push this one all the way through. Feng Xin though is being reinforced by Abu. Abu sending his paladins over to this left side to help Feng Xin out. Feng Xin at the moment with the lowest population in the game, and Warrior getting all of his paladins right into the mix. Could be a very big mistake, because he's being fired at by 3 castles simultaneously, whilst the Frank paladins from Abu come in from behind. And look at that population dropping from Warrior here. He cannot keep up with production. But on the right side, Winchester looking very good with his champions and Arbs over here. And Abu adding in the throwing axeman now, which will do good damage to the champions. So Winchester's just going to walk by, and oh, we got heavy scorps out for Abu as well. This is a great Frankish combination. The paladins acting like a meat shield. The throwing axeman laying down the damage from the back. Those 5 ranged elite throwing axemen taking out the champions very quickly. Of course, the Arbalest though are going to cause some issues. But on this left side, it looks like Warrior's been pushed back, and Warrior now should probably stop sending his paladins into their deaths. His population is at 68. He's not really gaining too much population at the moment. But Vic Warrior at the same time pushing forwards with these trebuchets, taking these castles down. The castle on the right's going to fall, and there's 2 more trebs coming out to take down the remaining castle. And in actual fact, Warrior might just, if he takes down these castles, be able to finish Feng Xin off. Feng Xin has had no opportunity this game to actually like even get up eco. Duke donated 13 cents. Says, can you call Feng Xin Paladin? I have been calling Feng Xin Paladin previously, but I've been calling him Feng Xin because that's what he's known as now. He changed his name to Feng Xin almost a year ago, I think, and I imagine he'll probably want to be known as Feng Xin going forwards. Otherwise, he would be using the Paladin name. On the right-hand side, Winchester with a lot of Arbalest back here, and that's going to be, well, good if he has enough of a meat shield in front of them. Otherwise, the Paladins are going to come in, and basically the heavy Scorpions from behind are going to lay down the damage. But on this left side, it's looking great for Warrior. And he is actually doing a great job against Feng Xin over here, and starting to add in those elite throwing axemen of his own, which will certainly help dealing with those berserks as they do that, well, lay down the damage from behind the paladins. Paladins, of course, acting like a meat shield, which is very nice. Trebuchets, though, getting taken down, and Feng Xin doing a good job of focus firing them, but it's almost a little bit too little, a little bit too late, as he's losing his initial TC, and he's lost a couple of castles over here as well. Now on this right side, we've actually got a pretty big wall-off coming up from Winchester here, and this could be the game. This could be the one they need. If the Don't Lame Us Please team managed to take a game here, that would be incredible for them, as they would bring it even at 1-1, and they will have to play obviously for the 3rd game and the point, I guess. But whilst Warrior pushes forwards and does a great job over on this flank, Abu is starting to push back on the right, and he is coming in with some reinforcements as well. Warrior, his population actually getting really good now as well. Before he was really throwing away a lot of units, but since those castles have gone down, he's not fighting underneath 3 castles, and he's not fighting 2v1. His population is really starting to get higher now, and yeah, Abu just going to throw those units away there as he runs into a huge mass of throwing axemen. These guys, when massed up and when behind paladins, just do so much damage. It's not even funny. They really just cut down everything in their way. Now on the right side, Abu is sending everything he's got now, it seems, to help out help out Feng Xin on this left flank. Sending everything he's got over there, and this could be the perfect opportunity now for Winchester to push forwards and do some damage. Obviously, he's got a pretty decent army on this right side. It's just made up of mostly pikemen, though, which are going to be a little bit squishy to those scorps on the hill. But like I say, if he pushes forwards now, this is the perfect time, as Abu throws away a lot of his units to Warrior. Warrior, though, losing a lot of his throwing axemen on this left flank now. But those paladins still being pumped out. And these guys at the back able to get a decent amount of trade going. And for Feng Xin and Abu, their trade not great at the moment. You know, it's getting there. They're still adding trade units in, but that trade is under pressure. Warrior, of course, was inches away from that trade just a minute ago, and I'm pretty sure he had some paladins in there just a moment ago as well. But Abu sending, like I say, everything he's got up here now to stop this push from Warrior. The question is, will they be able to push him completely back? Feng Xin has got a bunch of pikemen to support this, but pikes and halbs are going to do very little against the throwing axemen, the trash killers in this game. They will do more damage, of course, against those paladins, but ultimately these throwing axemen from Warrior are exactly what he needs to be making, and he is adding in a lot of them. And they are just cutting down that trash as soon as it gets into range. And this is looking like it's got a lot of potential at the moment. This game seems to have a lot of potential. Now, I'm wondering where Winchester is at the moment in all of this. Winchester has been walling up. He's been making a team wall for himself and Warrior on this through the center of the map. And that's great, because it means that there's not going to be any sort of, raiding parties coming through, getting into their trade line. That's fantastic. However, on the left side now, Warrior seems to be losing his steam. It is 2v1 over here at the moment. And Abu is population capped on 200 pop. So Warrior, like I say, losing steam slightly, and they are open on this left side. I think Warrior perhaps should just give up a little bit of ground, remass his units, and then push back once he's done that. But Feng Xin getting up to 122 population. He actually has more population than Vic Warrior at the moment. And that is a lot of pikes, a lot of heavy scorpions. And more heavy scorpions coming in from Abu as well. Where is Winchester in all of this? He needs to be over here. I'm not sure if maybe Winchester is doing a little bit of a sling. Like, what is Winchester doing? He's got 158 population, and he's only got 17 military units at the moment. So perhaps he's sending his resources, to Warrior. Perhaps he is slinging. We'll keep an eye on Winchester to see exactly what's going on there. But yes, he is slinging, and he's sending those resources to Warrior. I feel like this is a huge risk, a big risk, because at the moment, Warrior is massively outnumbered. He's up against so many more units here. And although, yes, he's going to have more gold units, he's going to have more throwing axemen, he's going to have more paladins, is that going to be enough for these guys to hold it off without Winchester adding in any units at all? It's still going to be 2v1 over here. Now, of course, these throwing axemen doing some serious damage to the pikes and the halbs and that. And it looks like Warrior, once again, will be able to either push it back a little bit, or at least hold the location for now. With the sling from Winchester coming in, he can afford more paladins. But the scorpions are not there at the moment for Warrior, and I feel like Warrior needs more sort of scorpions more ranged in here, as those paladins getting cut down very quickly against the pikes and the halbs. And this flank seems to be crumbling by the minute. There's a hell of a lot of eco back here, but Warrior's pushed right back to his castles now. And these paladins are literally running into a gather point and not even attacking, because he's got his gather points set too far forward. If we have a look, the gather points are set here. The gather points are set here, and these paladins are not actually attacking anything. They're trying to run to their gather point, and as they run through, Vic Warrior is getting cut down without even attacking a single thing. So he needs to relocate or redistribute or reposition, I guess, his gather point. Rather than putting it back here and sending his units to his death, he needs to move it back to his castles and fall back slightly. But it's going to be tough now, because there's there's trebuchets on the front here from Feng Xin, and rams coming in as well now. And those castles are getting cut down from Warrior, and even with Winchester sending him all of his resources, these paladins are still just being tasked back here. They're not attacking anything at all. Look at them, not a single bit of damage done by these paladins as they try and get back here, which is a really big mistake, and that is incredibly costly. And it just looks like there are way too many units for Warrior to push back against this. Winchester now, is he adding in some military as well? I don't know. I mean, it looks to me like he's got no military at all. He's got 21 military units at the moment. I don't know why I'm looking at that tab. It says it right here. But Feng's in 58 military units. Abu 46 against the 32 of Warrior. And like I say, these guys seriously outnumbering him on this flank. It's a very uphill battle for Warrior at the moment. And it looks like it will be GG very soon, as Abu comes in with more paladins and just overruns Warrior on the left side. And this is the thing, we've got the Viking player in green, Feng's in, adding in so many scorpions and supporting this fight, whilst Winchester just slings. And yeah, I mean, the Franks are gonna absolutely own the Vikings in a 1v1, but when you've got the Vikings supporting the other Frank player, Abu, you can't fight that just 1v2. It just doesn't work, as demonstrated here by Warrior, as he loses these castles. And no castles means no throwing axemen. No throwing axemen means it's going to be very difficult to take down these paladins, since these scorpions are putting in a ton of damage from behind it. And that is going to be very shortly a GG, I feel, as Warrior just crumbles now. He's got 33 military still, but it is dropping pretty quickly as Abu continues to move forwards. And like I say, once these castles go down, once the castles from Warrior are all gone, these guys could just steamroll in here, because the castles won't be putting down any more damage onto the fight. Castles coming forwards from Feng's in, nicely played. And meanwhile, everywhere else on the map, Abu taking putting up castles wherever he can, just to keep down or lock down the map control, I guess. But yeah, deathmatch is pretty bloody. It is pretty damn bloody. Very, very bloody. A lot of dead bodies on the floor. But Vic Warrior down to 25 population now. Feng's in on 30. Abu on 54. And Winchester now adding in a bunch of elite berserks. He's trying to support this with some berserks by the looks of it. A lot of paladins from Abu, and that is, well, the Rams, the Trebs. That is got to be about it for these guys. But you know, with an entire economy being slung to the other player, to Warrior at the moment, Warrior is still able to keep paladins coming out for now. The question is, how long is he going to hold out? And it's more of a question of how long can we hold on, rather than when are we going to be able to push back, because they aren't going to be able to push back into this at this rate. Even with Abu fighting uphill here, he's still got the numbers he needs, and he can still reinforce this very quickly. As well as the fact that, of course, they've got Feng's in behind this, bringing in the siege rams, supporting it with the siege, just in general. And that's kind of what he's doing. I mean, in this situation, Vikings good with the siege. They've got the siege ram, they've got the Trebs, of course, they've got the heavy scorps. But perhaps attacking uphill wasn't the best idea for Warrior. For Abu. He was attacking uphill here, and Warrior did manage to overcome that, which was a very fortunate turn of events, I guess. He has lost all of his castles, but he has now got the paladin advantage, I would say. Actually managing to take down those trebuchets, and my goodness me, Vic Warrior holding on by the skin of his teeth, quite literally, as he pushes back and takes out the trebs from Feng's in, takes down those rams as well. But those castles going up are just going to be able to allow these guys to reinforce this. Well, not so much reinforce it, but basically fall back to their castles if they need. And these paladins under here, although they're incredibly tanky, they are taking arrow fire from 3 castles simultaneously, which is never a nice thing to have to deal with. Abu and Warrior having a big fight here on the hill once again, but this time Warrior is not fighting downhill. It's Abu who's kind of fighting on open ground with him. And it looks like Abu getting the advantage he needs there. 27 military now for Warrior compared to 44 of Abu. And although, yes, he is reinforcing this quite quickly, Abu's got more and more paladins coming in still. In fact, he's got so many paladins coming in. Look at these stables. They are everywhere, just reinforcing as fast as possible. to this north side. I mean, this area has been back and forth for a little while now. But it was a really good defense from Feng Xin and Abu at the start of the game. And Winchester still just slinging like crazy. I'm interested to see just how many resources Warrior has. He's actually got quite a bit of gold, and all of these stables are queued with paladins. But like I say now, as these castles have gone down, they can start steamrolling through here with the siege. And if these stables start going down, then Warrior is not going to really have too many places to rebuild them. He's got more stables back here, but I mean, if you lose your military production, then your opponents are inevitably going to get ahead. Not just in military production, but as they take down your kind of trade as well, because this is so close to the trade now. So the stable's getting taken down from Warrior here, and Warrior's just falling back again and again. We got heavy scorpions being brought in by Feng Xin once more. Castles up on the front as well. And that is going to be, well, I said this a while ago, that's going to be that, but they're still holding on. I'm surprised that Warrior and Winchester have managed to hold on for quite so long. But Abu and Feng Xin together have about 25 more military units on the field at the moment. These stables and this TC being taken down, and Warrior trying to rebuild them behind this. He's trying to rebuild his stables as quickly as he can. He's still got those paladins queued out of the stables here, but he's not focusing down on these rams at all. It looks like he might have bought, he's bringing in the villagers to take them out. But it looks like the stables should be taken down very quickly. And as Warrior loses ground, as Winchester loses ground, Feng Xin and Abu just building more castles forwards, building more siege workshops, just reinforcing much faster as well. 61 military units now out for Abu. Abu with 61 paladins at this point in time. Warrior down to 17 paladins, and there's 12 berserks on the field for Winchester. The berserks here adding practically nothing of value as they're getting taken down by the scorpions. And now that these guys, the Psy team, have claimed this hill as well, it's now an uphill fight for Warrior. And this next castle is going to be under fire very soon. This castle as well now being targeted by these trebuchets. More trebs coming out. And these guys still trading like crazy. In fact, both teams, of course, trading like crazy. But Abu is dangerously close to the trade line now. Dangerously close to those trade units. And, of course, Warrior really doesn't want him to be anywhere near that. But, wow, paladins all over the eco. And those villagers are going to go down. This is going to be a real pain to clear out now, because paladins, of course, going to spread out like crazy over this economy. And they're going to kill a ton of villagers. They're going to get into the trade. And that's got to be it. Abu breaking down that wall of units from Warrior. And this is going to cause a huge distraction. These guys are either going to have to... They've got two options, really. They either fight at the front line, or they deal with the units killing their entire economies in the back. And like I say, these paladins will spread out, and that's going to be even more difficult, I guess, for them to actually track them all down and kill them all. And as they divert their attention to dealing with this, it means that Feng Xin and Abu can push in even harder on the front. And it looks like it's done. This is done for these guys now. It's got to be GG any minute as Abu just guts this out. Abu's up to 200 pop. Feng Xin 200 pop. Warrior 130 and Winchester 150 at the moment. And those paladins are just going to be causing havoc. Like I say, they're going to be really just destroying everything. You might think, well, look, they've got loads of food, they've got loads of wood, but yes, it's not going to last. The food and wood, if they start making trash, is not going to last very long. This is on fast speed, remember. So whilst Warrior has 2,500 wood and 7,000 food, if he loses all of his economy, he'll burn through that pretty quickly. But the biggest problem at the moment I see is that he's losing these stables really, really quickly. He's losing them faster than he can reproduce them. And without the stables, he can't make paladins. So it doesn't matter if he has all the resources in the world. If all of the stables are gone, which they are now nearly gone. I mean, there's 2 remaining. Where is he going to get his paladins from? How is he going to spend his resources? And there is the GG. Winchester and Warrior going to resign, and that means that this final 5th point will go to the Psy team. Very well played by the Don't Lame Us Please team there. They did do a great job of actually holding out for a good amount of time. I was very surprised they held on for that long. I thought it would be over long ago once Winchester started slinging Warrior, and granted they were losing ground very slowly over time, but Warrior had a fantastic start. Feng Xin was really on the defensive. He was pushed right back, but with the help of Abu they managed to defend, and that was a really nice comeback from that team. They managed to push it right back, and it was, like I say, an uphill fight for Warrior as he was being slung by Winchester there, and simply just outnumbered in a 2v1 almost, with Winchester's Berserks doing very little side. So there you go. Psy doing really well and actually taking that series 5-0. They did a fantastic job against Don't Lame Us Please, but then again, they were expected to win that one. They are expected to come out top in their group.